Hi, I'm David Hall. Welcome to a Prog Rocks podcast with Clive Nolan and Laura Piazzai. Clive is a prog rock legend. He plays keyboards for Pendragon and is composer and keyboard player for Arena, Shadowland, Strangers on the Train. He's collaborated with Oliver Wakeman on 3 albums. He formed the Camorra Theatre Company, which recorded She in 2008, and is currently working with Laura on the third of the Alchemy trilogy, The Mortal Light. Laura is an Italian-born vocalist and has her own No Limits band. She and Clive produced From the Outside In 2019, where Laura reinterpreted some of Clive's songs. She's also worked with Oak, Nine Skies, Massimo Pieretti, and of course with Clive on the Rise of Medici album by Imaginaerium. This was performed live at Park Villa in January. Laura is here this week in the UK working with Clive on brand new material. Hello to both of you. How are you today? And thank you so much for giving up your valuable recording time.
Hello. Yeah, well, actually, you chose a good time. We're just taking a short break. We've been recording one of the songs for the next album that we're working on, and yeah, we needed the break, didn't we?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, David. Thanks for this opportunity to speak about our new. How can we call it? Baby? Yes, baby. Run, baby.
One way of putting it, I suppose.
Firstly, can I ask how you both first met? I'm quite interested in that, and how your working relationship progressed. I've had a look back, and I'm guessing it's round about Beyond the Veil #2, round about the King's Ransom album. Clive, is that right, Laura?
Yes, well, it was a bit before. Clive was actually writing his King's Ransom, and I was writing. I decided to write to Clive to send him my voice and see if he could be interested in working with me. And he was, and so everything started from there. He asked me to fly to the UK. I did, and there a little possibility to be part of the how can we call the show before the presentation of the musical was. So it was, we had this possibility to actually be on stage with Paul Manzi and some other Arena members and do something acoustic, or yeah, this kind of show that he usually does before the real shows, like we did, for example, in Holland. We had this acoustic show before the Imaginaerium. So I was there, and I had this opportunity to perform there, and everything started from there, basically. Yes.
And Clive, did you know about Laura before this? Had you come across her music?
I didn't. It was actually the timing. My perspective on this is slightly different, but the timing was such that I found myself with spare time. That helped, and people do write to me, at various points, and more often than not, I'll, say thanks for the letter or whatever, but I don't take it any further than that. But Laura was very persistent, and she kept reminding me that she was a singer. So in the end, I sort of gave her something to sing, and we, it was like a test case, and then it sort of developed from that point onwards. And I suppose I've become more invested in the partnership, because as we've moved along, she's sort of produced the vocals, as opposed to just promised to produce some vocals. So that's a thing. And she's right, we did some little bits and pieces initially, and then we ended up, of course, not long after that, ending up working on like the Rise of Medici and so on.
So where did the idea for the From the Outside In album come from? Who thought of it, and how was it developed?
Well, that was kind of my fault, really, because I was thinking, well, she wanted to do something, and I had to make a decision to either make an album or not. And I didn't really have time to write a brand new album. I was knee deep in writing probably one of the musicals and probably an Arena album and goodness knows what else. And so I thought, well, what we could do is reinterpret songs that I've written, because I always find that interesting. Something, you take something you've written 20 years ago and give it a new lease of life. And so that's really where we went with that. And we're sort of doing the follow-up album now, but this time it's taken on a very different kind of feel. Originally, when we wrote, we sort of thought about this album. We thought, okay, well, here's a set of songs, and again, it was reinterpretation of songs I'd written over the last, well, goodness knows, 30 years or so.
30 and more. Yeah.
But I started writing some new material for this one because there were certain things I wanted to kind of have on the album. And that's when I get hooked into something like that, then it's one of those things I sort of have to follow it through to its sort of progression, sort of its proper ending. So at the moment, over half the album is actually new material. So it's going to be a different album again, really.
So on the first album, From the Outside In, who decided on the tracks? Did you both have an input, or Laura? Do you have some?
I sent Laura a load of tracks, and then
together, and of course there were some favorites of mine. So I would say that in the first album, probably we tended to choose more the power songs, right? With the exceptions of a couple of these, but Closer, or was it From the Outside In? Yeah, the song that gives the title to the album. But mostly power songs. This album will be completely different and will be very, very much a surprise. So I just say this.
And have you a title for it yet?
Not really. We've got
Nearly.
we've got two or three working titles. And we're trying to decide which title. Oh, we forgot to check this morning. Well, yeah, we're sort of certain people that we know were saying which title do you prefer, and trying to get a bit of a vote. But that's all a bit fake, really, because we sort of know which one we like. So probably it won't make any difference what they say anyway.
It's just to be kind, to ask.
So Laura, when you posted on your Facebook site asking for suggestions for Clive songs for this next album, how many suggestions did you get?
We got a lot, actually, but in the end, we ended up doing things differently, because this is the nice thing of the creative process. You don't know where it takes you. So it started with two songs, and then, well, it just went on. So
we've taken the suggestions that were made, we made a note of, and the old songs that we are doing are those suggestions. But there are just fewer of them, because we originally were going to do a whole album the same way as we did Outside In, but now probably over 50% of the album is original material. And then the sort of, I don't know, the rest of it is the old stuff.
So we got four.
But those are songs that were suggested.
I think it's only four songs that are old songs, and not even that known.
Right.
One or two. So it's
So I'm guessing my suggestion didn't get in. I think it was a Hanging Tree from The Visitor.
Oh, Hanging Tree. No. You see, well, yeah, but the thing about the Hanging Tree is, yes, it would be an interesting song to do, but it's quite a long song, and you commit yourself to taking up quite a chunk of the album if you go for something like that. So, you've got to kind of make decisions about the length of the songs, how it's all kind of ties together. So no, I'm afraid that one didn't make the final list.
That is a great shame. I love that song. I was playing it yesterday. I love the Visitor album. That is my favorite Arena album. I was hoping you might have squeezed one in there, Laura.
Well, we can, so with Laura, not so much, but you can always come and see Arena perform that at some point.
I know you're in festivals this year, aren't you?
Yeah, we're not doing a lot this year.
No, you're on tour with Pendragon in May.
I am.
From May, right. And then a couple of festivals later on.
That's it.
While I think of it, can I ask you why you are playing 2 nights in Peterborough? That was piquing my interest for Pendragon.
Oh, well, on the last tour with Pendragon, we came up with this thing of doing these 2-night packages. So basically you've got, as far as I'm concerned, 4.5 hours of music, but basically you do 2 sets. So on the, gig 1, we were doing The Whole of Love Over Fear with some extra songs. And then gig 2, we were doing another album plus extras. And the same thing applies, the principle of the 2-day concert. We're doing a few times during this tour. I think we're doing in Peterborough, we're doing in Poland as well. I don't know if we're doing anywhere else. And it was just a way of actually providing people with more of a complete experience. We do an acoustic show. We do, I think I remember, we did a sort of a question and answer thing. We did the first set, we did the second set. It's a package. Why in Peterborough? That is a question for Nick. I don't know why in Peterborough. Probably because he liked the look of the venue. He probably thought it was a sort of venue that people could get to, probably find hotels around it. There's a lot of sort of nuts and bolts that go into making those kind of decisions. So that's probably where he's coming from.
So as far as Pendragon's concerned, Clive, I say simply play keyboards, that's not the case, but do you have a lot of input into it, or do you have more into arena? I'm quite
No.
intrigued.
I'm in Pendragon, I'm a keyboard player.
Right.
So Nick writes the music. Well, I think Peter and Nick used to write years ago, but Nick basically writes the music. I come in, I play the keyboard. Sometimes he'll say, I need a lead there, when we're doing an album or something like that. Sometimes he'll present me with everything it needs, and then it becomes my own as we do it more live. So I have more of an influence at that particular point, but it's written, and it's his baby. With arena, very different. That's very much my thing, and Mick, in terms of the writing, it's it's, well, anyone in the band can write, but I'm sort of musical director, and I tend to write a lot of the stuff. Let's go with that. And I write all the lyrics as well, just to kind of keep it focused.
So let's move on from the outside in. Of course, we went through lockdown, which was pretty tough on everybody. And Eric Bouillet had this vision for The Rise of Medici, of course. So that was released in 2022. So it did take some time. How was the recording process? And did you both research the Medicis a lot? Did you read or watch, or did you research the family before recording? And did the music come after the lyrics, or vice versa?
Well, I wasn't initially on board. That was very much started with Eric and Laura. Eric came to a gig, in fact, that Laura was singing in with me, and then they kind of started the project. And then I came in later because Eric wanted lyrics and concepts and things, and I did a bit of research, looked them up, and started to get a feel for it. And I thought it was an interesting story, and I wanted, as the concept, I wanted it to be like the origin story, how it all probably got set up in the first place. So Cosimo and Contessino and whatever. And so, I mean, I kind of created a concept and started writing lyrics, and eventually ended up writing quite a lot of the music, because it was quite inspiring once we got going on it. And yes, you say it was the pandemic and it was the lockdown and everything. For me, I mean, I don't wish to make light of how horrible it was for the world in terms of the casualties and what have you. But for me, it was actually a very positive period of time, because I was effectively locked away for the best part of a year, which in my world is perfect, because I wrote about 5 albums. So I'm quite a sort of not agoraphobic, but I like to be in my little space, and I can focus on the writing, and writing is what I enjoy doing the most. So for me, it's quite good. But as far as the putting of the Medici album together, you want to get her to talk about that. Go.
Well, it was. I'm silent. You see, today I'm quiet. Yeah. No, well, it started all with Eric. And he wanted something really powerful, really epic, and we thought about this family that we thought actually back in the history was a very powerful family. So I said, I would love to give you something really that's yours, really yours. And we started everything with me, and we didn't plan to have other voices on. Once we involved Clive, he obviously developed the whole story, so other characters were actually involved in it, and other voices were needed. That's why we got Elena Vladiuk as the classic singer. So it's the storyteller of the whole thing, and Odysseus as Cosimo, and Mr. Clive Nolan as Rinaldo, obviously me as Contessina. So, well, Eric was very, very, very impressed by his job, and they started this collaboration. He started those, I think it was like 4, 5, 6, I don't remember, demos that he developed, and they developed together, and he put all his beautiful violins and guitars and everything. Sadly, you know what happened to him. Unfortunately, a pancreatic cancer took him away, and he couldn't see, let's say, the physical album coming out, but he could come to the master of it. So he got the result of everything. He was very proud of it. And everything started in this way. Actually, we got lots of great reviews, only great reviews, and lots of people really saying that this was really great, is really a great album. And that's good. That's good. So it's that's why we're planning future things for it.
So did you meet Eric when he was involved with Nine Skies? Because I know you did a track for Nine Skies on the following album after Eric had passed away.
Yes, but it wasn't related to Nine Skies. We met because he just wrote to me. He wrote to me on Messenger. That was actually, we started to joke. It was kind of a funny chat we had. And in that moment, he just said, "You come to the UK, you're going to perform with Clive. I want to come." And he bought the tickets and he came. And that was literally the beginning of it. And if I can say this, we only physically met that time. We became so friends, but we only met that time. It was the only physical, yeah. It was very sad because I couldn't meet him when I was here 2 years ago now, in nearly 2 years ago. Yes, it was April. It was his 2, 3 last months. He couldn't join us for the interviews that we planned to do all together, but I don't know if you could listen to them. And the interviews, they were actually all done separately, except Clive and I, of course. But it was planned differently. We had to do it in this way because he was really not well, and he couldn't leave his home to come and join us. So I never, nor he, could ever meet him. You met him more than me.
I saw him a few times, yeah.
It was like at least 3 times, yes. Yeah, that's it.
So Contessina comes across as the power of the album. That's down to your voice, Laura, of course. Is that how it was meant to be interpreted? Over Cosimo, Contessina is the power behind the power. Is that how you see it?
It's how it was written.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was how it was written. I mean, it was always that the Contessina was the central point of this story. I picked up from some of the history bits that I read that, you know, she was very instrumental in a lot of the kind of politics, and despite the fact that Cosimo was the sort of front man, as it were. Yeah, that's how the album was written. She was the person that drove the whole family along, really.
Even when he was exiled, it was like she went on with the family business, and you know, the bank she became a very important member of the family, actually, of the Medici, even though she didn't want in the beginning to get involved with this family, but she actually did her duty, made her duty very, very much as it was planned to be. You know, at that time it was all about planning and mixing important families.
So the live show, of course, was a complete sellout, which was fantastic. Happened in January. Has it been filmed?
Yeah, it was filmed. Yes, I think if there was a few cameras in there, and it will be edited together, not with a view to selling it or anything really. It was just a view to having a testament to what we did. That's as far as I've got. I'm trying to remember, and I really can't remember right now whether I've got whether they sent me the film yet or not.
You've got the sound.
I've got the sound,
but
right?
I don't
Yeah, I
think
haven't
you've
got
got
the
a
film.
video.
Okay,
Yes,
no,
you've got
that
a
makes
sound.
sense. So yeah, it was filmed. I guess if the film looks nice and if we're happy with some parts of the sound, I guess we could do clips and perhaps they'll end up online. I don't think there'd be a DVD coming out. I mean, we only done one gig. I mean, I think we could afford to do maybe a few more before we decide to bring out a live album or something. So,
well, that was the next question. Any UK shows, Clive, for the Rise of Medici?
There may well be. Yes, I think there will be. I mean, well, this is a bit complicated. I'm building a mead hall in the back garden, as you do, a Viking mead hall, and the part of the plan, I'm doing it because I want to use it as a venue, a small venue. It's a bit like when we've done the show, when we did Alchemy, one of the musicals off West End. I mean, you're looking at a theatre that holds like 60, 70 people. And that there's a lot of these little theatres around in the West End in London. So it's, but this will have its own very strong character because it's literally being built to look and feel like a Viking mead hall. But I'm planning to do performances there. I'm hoping to start in September with my Viking album, in fact, so that would be the obvious thing to do first there. But at some point, probably early next year, as far as that's concerned, I wouldn't mind putting the Medici album on here. Yeah,
Good.
Absolutely. Part of a weekend of stuff, probably.
And will Imaginaerium continue as a band name, or is it a one-off? Is it a Imaginaerium Rise of Medici? Is it a one-off name, or will Imaginaerium continue as a project?
Well, I think if Imaginaerium can, if there's another album made in the same vein, then obviously you can use Imaginaerium. It would just continue. It's a weird one at the moment for me anyway, because we've been asked, will we do another album, what have you? But Eric's not here, so the kind of starting point that was him for Medici isn't here. And I, in my head, I'm trying to work out what would define an Imaginaerium album from just a Clive Nolan album.
Yeah.
So the one thing we got is he left me 2 pieces of music, which I have sitting here, and maybe that will be the start of something. So I don't know, but I can't help but thinking there might be something.
So can you tell me a bit more about The Mortal Lights, which has been you've been writing it for a couple of years, and now
Well, actually, I haven't been writing it for a couple of years. I wrote it during the pandemic, and it took me about 4 months to write. It was one of the fastest jobs I've done because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. But I had the time. It's great when you have every day, all day to write. It makes what you can do. What's taken me the time is getting it recorded, because it's partly being recorded by some Norwegians, it's partly being recorded over here. There's been 101 things that have got in the way, whether I've been on tour or what have you. So the time has been in the actual making of the album. We are drawing close to getting the recording done. Actually, there's a few more bits to do in Norway, and I've got some stuff to do over here, but I really love the idea that this album could be finished and possibly out by the end of the year, because I've sort of, this is a long time in my way of making albums. This has taken a long time, and I think it's high time it was out, because I wouldn't mind trying to do a live performance of it. So it's all moving forward. I love it still, actually, which is a good sign, I suppose, because by now I could have easily thrown it in the bin. So on that side of it, it's good. Maybe the end of this year it'll be out. Certainly, at worst, the early next year, but I hope this year.
And Laura, you're playing a Viking. Is it a Viking goddess? I believe.
It's the demi-goddess Macaria.
Macaria.
Obviously a baddie.
Oh, baddie.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely a baddie.
So have you both swapped roles? Clive, are you going to play the hero on this one, or?
Well, I played throughout the Alchemy musical. There are 3 musicals, which is called part of the same universe. One's called Alchemy, one's called King's Ransom.
Yeah.
This one's called The Mortal Light. And Professor King is the kind of, I don't know if you, well, I'm just trying to think, he's almost like the Doctor Who of this story, if you like, the Professor Challenger of this storyline. So he's there all the way, not necessarily the most heroic person, not necessarily the person who's out there doing the most heroic deeds or anything, but he's the thread that ties it all together. And that's so, and yes, in principle, he's a goodie, I suppose. Although I would say he's perhaps a little grayer than white. But you know, that's the principle of it. And yeah, he's in this one, fighting the latest baddie. So, yeah.
Laura, you enjoy playing the baddie?
Well, you know, I think that the most exciting roles are always the bad parts. This is what I think. Yeah, even though Contessina isn't a baddie, but she's strong. Still, she's strong. Yeah. So yes, definitely yes. I love to play the baddie.
Yeah, I got to play the bad guy in the Medici thing.
Well, Clive, you played Rinaldo, which was
Rinaldo.
and I think
I really enjoyed it.
It sounded like you enjoyed it.
There was an actor, a film star, I can't remember which one it was now, but he said the great thing about playing a baddie is you win every single battle except the last one. So you're usually on top of things right the way through to the end, and obviously you have to get beaten. But so it's true in a way. That's you know, you can sort of, and also I think you can be more, I think, you know, playing a bad guy is more interesting.
It's more exciting.
It is.
More, you can sort of be more extreme with your personality. Yes. Whereas the good guy's got to, you know, he's got to walk that moral compass, that, you know, all the rest of it. So, yeah.
It's always the most exciting thing to play.
It is.
Yeah.
So while Clive is on tour, Laura, are you out with No Limits, or are you recording?
No, actually, No Limits are not really playing anymore. We can say it was something belonging more to the recent past, but it was just a live band that we had, but it's actually nothing. No, we are not actually playing anymore.
So it's not so much No Limits as Limits.
It's a limit. It has a limit, and the limit has expired.
Okay. It has reached its limits.
Yeah.
It has reached its limit. Yes.
Right.
So no, for the moment, definitely not. Nothing. I will spend my time to learn songs, a lot of songs, and hopefully working more on this album that we are producing now.
Good. Before we go, can I just ask you both a few quick fire questions that I'm intrigued about? Firstly, Clive, you were writing a novel called Mephisto Bridge. Is that still something you hope to complete?
I did complete it. I did write the book. I think I changed its name in the end, but yeah, I can't remember that. But it's sitting in a drawer somewhere. I had a few friends read it, I think, and I don't know. I really enjoyed the process of writing the novel. I'm not entirely sure it is the sort of thing that would be worth releasing. It was great for me as an exercise to put it together. And if I was to write another one, I would have learned a lot by doing that first one. But I haven't sort of taken it. No, I haven't taken it any further than simply the enjoyment of binding all the pages together and saying, well, there we go, I did it. So yeah,
which is a pity because you're such a great writer. So it's
but I even know now if I went back to that novel, I would tear it apart and put it back together again anyway. I can think of all the things I don't like about it. So yeah.
And who would you both like to duet with that you haven't done so far? Or collaborate with. It doesn't have to be vocal. It could be keyboards or simply vocal.
I'm a massive Peter Gabriel fan. I'd love to have worked with him at some point. That would be great. You know, he obviously is a guy who just needs my voice on one of his songs because
I agree.
Maybe, but no, that would be, I suppose, if I can choose anybody, I might as well go for that.
Laura?
No doubts at all. I am completely out of my for Adam Lambert.
Oh,
Adam Lambert.
any female singer?
I
mean,
haven't thought about it.
Elena was beautiful on the Medici album, and you both
But we
complimented
already
each
do
other.
it, so
Yeah.
that's done already. Yes, I haven't thought about it any, but I don't know. So far I think it's really Adam Lambert. I
Good.
would love to do. Oh yes, there is a female singer, Carrie Ellis.
Right.
Carrie Ellis. She performed. She's related to Queen as well.
Okay.
Carrie Ellis. She played with Brian May, didn't she?
Okay.
Yes, and was around with him performing. And yes, Carrie Ellis. Yes,
Good.
2 days. Carrie Ellis and Adam Lambert.
Number
one, Adam Lambert.
Another quick question: the last progressive rock album you enjoyed? Doesn't have to be new. Can be new.
I'll be honest, I don't listen to a lot of progressive rock albums.
Clive.
I mean, it's well, I know it's
Clive.
but if I'm cooking or something like that, and I'm playing something,
Spotify.
It's going to be I don't go near Spotify.
Yeah.
It's going to be other types of music.
Okay.
I'm desperately trying to think of a progressive album I've listened to in the last year or so, and I'll get back to you. Laura will tell you about all the progressive rock albums she likes.
Okay, Arena, The Unquiet Sky.
Oh, that's cheating.
I remain family, but it's like that. It's my favorite album. So Arena.
Yeah,
Can
good.
we consider Imaginaerium?
Good.
Apart from that, but I mean, yes, if I like that.
The last thing I listened to recently was a Chaz and Dave album.
Oh, dear.
It's a tough one. I listen to a lot of film music, and orchestral music, and classical music and stuff like that. I know it sounds weird, but I do listen. I mean, I love Genesis, and I still listen to Genesis. So, I mean, but that's a bit old school. But it is what it is.
I mean, a modern author and a composer, and you name Genesis.
Because I don't need modern progressive rock to influence what I do in progressive.
No, not
in fact, quite the opposite. I actually prefer not to be influenced by stuff like that. So I don't have an easy answer for you.
Okay, couple I listen to, Monarch Trail.
We go for Arena, both of us. Arena, The Unquiet Sky.
I can recommend Monarch Trail. That Monarch Trail's latest album, 4 Sides, very keyboard, and one that you introed in by Ellesmere called Stranger Sky.
Actually, yeah, I've got that album right behind me. It arrived in the post with the CD, and I didn't name it because I haven't heard it yet.
You need to listen to it.
Okay, it's good, is it?
It is brilliant.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I remember doing the yes.
Okay, can I mention another one actually? Because this morning I got Nick Fletcher's Quadrivium.
Of course, yeah. I must listen to
another one.
that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, time is nearly up, but thank you so much, both of you, for being here.
Thanks to you, Dave.
It's taken a lot of organising.
Yeah, but you did well, you see.
And I hope the recording goes great. We look forward to some new music. Hope your UK tour is good, Laura. You enjoying the weather and the mud?
I do enjoy it always, but not as much as I hoped, because actually this is not rain, and this is not rain.
Oh, it will rain, don't you worry.
Okay, if you say so.
More to come.
More to come.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the next chapter. Still waiting for it, but yeah, I am enjoying. I always love to be here, so
That's lovely.
I'm a UK lover, so.
Well, we look forward to new music, new tours in the UK. And thank you both for being here, and bye-bye for now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Clive. Thank you, Laura. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.